got us a team one with... Yep. Oh my god. Oh no. The mask came off. The short shorts got put on. Kreiser. We normally see this man masked up. No, we gotta hide his face. He's still gonna be the unmasked stranger. I might even censor it for this video if I can remember it. We also got ourselves Valenus in here. We got ourselves A-Bomb. We got ourselves also Yandex. Are you still working or human this time? I think maybe human. We got Arthas in here. Trying to show him off with that short Kreiser. I feel like Kreiser should be like Doom guy. No face seen. I feel like it takes away a lot of that, like... a lot of that specialty out of him. You know what I mean? That mask needs to stay on. No one cared who I was until I put on the mask. You know what I mean? Arthur's gonna first over Casino, gonna get an opener, trying to get a Rakestone opener, does not quite get it, going into Thorns immediately, is gonna pop a trinket on that Hammer of Justice. Arthur's popping off Shield of Vengeance as well as Eye for Night. Gonna be quite a few defenses for Casino to go through, as Arthur is channeling Wings afterwards. The Wings are up, Casino looking to bail away from him. Arthur is gonna dip under. That's gonna be that Ursul's trying to keep the Paladin over the bay away from Christina. Trying to keep him away as best as possible. Going for that reset if he can. But looks like Stealth cannot pick it up. Not playing Incarnation, so cannot get a free stealth. Gonna be big center for Will for Arthas. Big damage out of that man. Is Arthas gonna smite down Christina? Just hit him. Oh no. I don't, should I say it? Should I not? Oh. Is it gonna Strathome that kitty? No, big defensive for Arthas though is gonna get himself that wall. Back-to-back lay on hands. I know it's Word of Glory, but basically lay on hands, recovering completely. Christina did bust through one of these big defenses. Bubble still hasn't been used by Arthas, and Christina is still looking to get the bubble. Oh, big Convoke the Spirits though. What was that bite? What was that damage? He was literally at like 40% or something like that, and then just pop, gone. Jesus, on the team of Christina, which is already off to a good start. We got ourselves Titanius, we got ourselves Relapse with Unstoppable in the back end. Dirks as a sub rogue. Oh man. We're gonna try to do our best to hide this man's face. I feel like no one should see Kreiser's face. He should be the man, the mystery. We're Christina gonna be up next. Dropping down the Inferno with an Immolate to follow right after. Soul Rod trying to come out for Kreiser. And looks like he's actually getting quite a bit of damage to Christina. Gonna be quite a lot of comp flags. Big damage coming out for Kreiser. With massive Chaos Bolts flying in. Does he get a second one? If he can get 2 Chaos Bolts back to back, that'll be huge damage. But looks like Kreiser actually has quite a bit of instant cast damage without double Chaos Bolt setup. Has the mobility to chase after the kitty for a little bit with being a Night Phase, so the Soul Shape does come into play. But looks like Christina looking for a complete reset away from the Infernal as well as Kreiser as the cooldowns do disappear from the man. Christina is going to be able to count himself a full proper reset here. The clock is only, wait, maybe proper? No, it looks like wasn't able to catch a proper reset. It looked like he should have, but he did pick up the eye, so then he did send the pet in, which makes sense. Thorns available for Casina is going to be pretty good for the pet, not for Kreiser though. It'll go for that Fear. Double Chaos Bolt is not set up and ready. Shadow Fury, second Chaos Bolt after. Cataclysm instead, so it looks like Cataclysm doing quite a bit of bursty damage to Casina. Port coming out as Casina finally closes the gap. With Kreiser trying to go on the offensive, Barkskin is used, no wall available. Kreiser does go for the portal, the big gateway to get out of there. Those conflagrates are doing so much damage every global. They actually are just chunking out Christina, drain life onto the Feral. He sees the Feral try to get away, is going to at least try to make sure he's topped off. As long as Kreiser is doing good on defenses, he won't really have to... I think he won't really have to sweat too much here. He's still holding on to wall, reflect available. Not really sure what you can reflect against Christina. Maybe Thorns if you go on the auto attack. If you go on the offensive in the melee. But as long as he has Mortal Coil and back-to-back CC, like Fears, he should be in a great spot. Mortal Coil is Christina trying to go for that mobility with that Tiger's Lust into a Fear right after, pinning him against the corner with a Chaos Bolt. Soul Rot, one will come, dropping Christina to half health with just one Chaos Bolt. Massive damage out of that one. Porting away, Christina does send the bleeds onto Kreiser, but the dampening hasn't kicked into high gear just yet. So for Chrysler, those bleeds shouldn't be too much of trouble, especially with the Warlock self-healing. Hits him with a fear right as he's trying to get towards the corner of the ramp. Shadow Fury trying to hit him and meet him at the top. It's going to be an interrupt on that Shadow for a second. Shadow Fury does spin around for it with a cast to Christina. Fear does get bashed out of Fear. Big damage out of Christina. Big bite out of Chrysler. Not really looking all that healthy. Wall does have to come out now. Trying to get a Fear onto Christina. Might be able to maybe go for a big cast. Looks like Monaco does connect. Chrysler does jump off the side. Could have went maybe for a cast there. Has cooldowns ready. Does he get the Fury? He does not. The bite connects. Christina was super prepared for the massive damage of Desert Warlock. As long as you survive the Infernal Burst, it's really difficult for a Warlock to get a guaranteed setup, but you basically have to have double casual back-to-back sets, soul shards, and CC that you have to line up in order to get that big double back damage. Unless he's not running that legendary, maybe he's potentially running a whole completely other different legendary too. So that is something to consider here. Yandex is going to be up next. It looks like Yandex did swap out from Worgen into the human. No, the Worgen, the wolf comes out. His Mog is just kind of all over the place, but I've seen a lot of Death Knights doing like a Mog that's like different pieces from different tier sets or different seasonal stuff. Got himself Abomination Limb, looking to maybe see if he can catch Christina. Doesn't catch it that close enough. The Abomination Limb, if he ever can get it in front of Christina, should start yoinking the kitty back from behind the pillar. They actually are making the Abomination Limb somewhat stronger in the next patch, so even if you succeed, it'll still keep doing the grippy thing. So that's probably going to be very annoying in arenas in the future. Crusader taking quite a bit of chunky damage there. Does have a bit of recovery. As for Yandex, that's a lot of his pets are just gone. Mix of thorns as well as bleeds, just melting the Death Knight little by little. Trying to go for self-heals with the Death Coils while Lichborn is active. Crusader popping in Barkskin still has a wall if they ever get in trouble, but looks like the bleeds have set into Yandex. Not much Death Knight can do with the Frost or Unholy in this kind of situation. Not a lot of self-healing available for Death Knights really anymore unless he goes for sacrifice on his main pet, which actually got cleaned up by Christina, and Yandex is just behind and just put up against the wall. Not much you can really do. Bleeds are on. No death strikes to use. Does get the grip into Christina last second, but the bleeds take out. And Valen is going to be up next as a rogue. Shadow stepping next to Christina, playing that Assassination actually, so we're going to see the Sass rogue gameplay. Maybe 100% crit setup. Gonna shout to Christina, big damage out of Assassination, big Vendetta to end it. It looks like Valen just came in with a big Vendetta setup. Just taking out the Feral out of the game pretty quickly. But Unstoppable is going to be up next as we're getting close to the 7-minute mark here, boys. 11% dampen. Unstoppable picking up Fleshcraft. Has that CC immunity. You can see like a little shimmer of green flame from under him. When that is there, that means he has the CC immunity. I guess he wanted to make sure he can pick up the eye without having to search for Velanos or having Velanos CC him out. I'm surprised he picked up the eye. I guess the eye, he did channel a good portion of it while he was Fleshcrafting, wasn't he? Could have shot immediately onto Unstoppable with a Garrote right after ambush as he's tried to burn through the shields of the Shaman. Looks like he was able to burn through the initial shield of the Fleshcraft, kicking that Lava Birds, but a Lightning Lasso catches it while the Fire Elemental is just going off on you. Setting up for Primordial. It looks like Velanos is going to go for a Vanish, trying to go for a bit of a reset himself. Is going to get himself an opener. Unstoppable with a Vendetta rolling. Could be huge damage. Does pre-feign this. Needs to make sure to get the interrupt on the heal. If he can get it. Still has a kick. Didn't miss a kick just yet. That's a short stun. Unstoppable does catch up on a lot of health. He's still Vendetta rolling. Could go for an interrupt into a Lightning Lasso as it gets interrupted on fire. Do not want to let the Primordial damage go through. And Valence does kind of fall behind a little bit. Big opener onto Unstoppable. Big Vendetta. If only he had Cloak of Shadows together with it. Now, is he going to get back in there, or is he going to go for a reset himself? Because the Rogue could get back at Unstoppable and just continue pressuring, or he could go for a full reset, get himself a couple of sippy cups in stealth, and then come back at a later time. If he is playing the 100% crit setup, by the way, he might just have to go for a Vanish as an offensive playstyle against Unstoppable. We'll have to wait and see, because Assassination Rogues can do quite a bit of sustained damage, but in terms of the burst, I think a Vanish might need to be part of the gameplay. Get a shot onto Unstoppable as he got the bleeds up and running. Shadow Step in, and Shadow Step uses mobility just to catch up to the burst with a Vanish right after Unstoppable with a Garrote. Has a pretty big Envenom in there. Big interrupt on nature. Unstoppable goes in for a Warlock Hellstone heal with a wall. Valence does get quite a lot of damage out of him. No blind available for a while. Is at least trying to maintain the dots on Unstoppable, but that's going to be a meteor coming down, and Valence getting hit with a Lightning Lasso. Could be a pretty big lava burst right after. Not a lot of health real left. Cloak of Shadows is active. Doesn't even pop evasion. Just might as well pop the defensive. I mean, against a Shaman, what are you going to really evade? But you might as well. You never really know, right? You never really know. 11 minutes almost up, but that's going to be Valence going up again. No Vendetta. Oh, actually, Vendetta this time is up. Trinket available. No Cloak, no Vanish. So he might have to maybe delay Vanish to go with a big Vendetta for a most burst. But Unstoppable has a Trinket back up. So you might want to bait up the Trinket maybe with a blind. So maybe going for like a really soft opener. And then blinding when Unstoppable gets some damage, forcing a Trinket out of him. Then going in with a full Vendetta, full Vanish setup might be a go-to. Valence tried to see if he can get a proper open on Unstoppable. Does go with the Night Fae ability. Sepsis poison damage is going to be quite good. Trinkets out of the Lightning Lasso with the Earth Elemental available. Already popping wall for himself really early. That's actually double wall available for him. Blind onto Unstoppable. Trinkets out of Valence. If he could just survive a little bit longer for a next go, he might actually have everything here. Actually used Vendetta there really early on, so not going to have the Vendetta together with a Vanish. Trying to keep the Shaman slow with his Phantom Knife. Shadow Step in with a Kidney Shot. It is super DR'd. Vanish comes out to get himself a bit of a reset. So I don't really know. This is a tough situation to be a rogue right now. Because Unstoppable just, I mean, he's tanky. Lots of self-healing with the Earth Shield, especially with the Legendary. And once he can get some damage up and running, like a Primordial Bolt, big Lava Burst instant cast, you are in a deadly spot. Get yourself a Stormkeeper up and running, you're in a deadly spot. Lightning Lasso while an Elemental is wailing on you, you're in a deadly spot. There's just so many setups for Unstoppable. He doesn't really have the finishing power, but he definitely has the setup power, and it doesn't really take him super much. It's just really one cast, and then he has himself a good setup. That's all he really needs, is one full cast of almost any ability, and he has himself a good setup. For Valence, the rotating defenses and offensives to try to match Unstoppable, it is quite difficult. Is going to get the dots up and running. Trinket being used right here as a meteor comes down onto Valence's head. And most likely Lasso right after. Unstoppable popping his own Trinket most likely for damage. Valence not looking that good after this Lasso. Cloak of Shadows is up for Primordial Bolt. He does have an interrupt. It looks like he actually goes for his Shadow Meld right in front of Unstoppable. And he's just going to go for that full reset. DC with a no-no, my man. How you doing, my dude? Yo, can we get a hashtag Lamar in chat showing appreciation for the wonderful Lamar Milade, my man? I like your name, by the way. Can we get a hashtag DC and Lamar showing appreciation for the wonderful donations? Boys, thank you so much for the tips. I appreciate you. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you, boys. Very, very generous of you guys. The 20 bones and the 3 big bones right there. Well, thank you, boys. I really, really appreciate it. Unstoppable try to knock Valence into a wall though. Super low in health. Could be really bad. Does catch himself a stun for a second. Into a cheap shot. Does he have the interrupt? He does not have interrupt. Vanish. Garrote is available if he needs to. Blind. Unstoppable trying to go for a heal. Trying to shadow step him. Has a Vanish Garrote if necessary. Might need to do it here. Unstoppable though, recovering, get himself quite a few instant casts. The rogue is barely alive. Like a lasso, no way out of the lasso. Could be really bad for Valence. Kidney shot. Vanish. Not gonna go for the Garrote. If only he had went for the Garrote a lot earlier, would have given him a few more seconds to just delay until the kick is available. And he actually had himself such a good go there for a second, but I guess he just didn't have enough damage. The rogue is still hanging in there, boys, going for first aid and everything. Unstoppable sitting down for mage. Actually, nobody has a mage in the team, so no mage food. Valence is trying to fight this tooth and nail, dude. Can this Assassination rogue defeat an Unstoppable Shaman? Because Unstoppable is just super giga tanky, big damage on this man, super survivable, great play of his character, honestly. But Valence is still not out of the fight just yet. Cloak of Shadows coming back, had Smoke Bomb, lacking on the Trinket, lacking on offensive cooldowns, but we are getting into higher dampening where maybe Unstoppable could be seeing some reduction in his damage. Looks like a Shadow Meld for Valence there. Open it up with a Garrote itself. Unstoppable does regain the crit buff. Has a cloak if necessary. Couldn't pre-cloak this light last, so is going to put him behind a little bit. Wants to maybe immediately cloak. That's going to be a bit of oh my goodness, quick, one kick is necessary here. Get a shot. Wait, does he actually have him here? Did the Cloak of Shadows give him enough? He needs that interrupt. He doesn't have the interrupt. Sepsis isn't enough. Cheap shot for a second. It actually does get it. Wait, he actually does do it. Sepsis gave him that cheap shot. Oh my god, Valence actually assassinated him. Oh my god. Titania's taking the rogue out, but the rogue hung in there to the very last second, to the very last cooldown, down to 2%, 1% of his health. And the Sepsis gave him that cheap shot just to get that interrupt in. That was so close, but so good. Did have to play it until a pretty long game, until like pretty high dampening, but he played it to the very tooth and nail. Titania's going in for a bit of bleeds onto A-Bomb. I see you swap it out to Frost instead of what we usually see from A-Bomb, which is mostly that unholy play. But he is not really having an easier time catching up to Titania's. Trying to go for Death Goals just now. I just noticed he has a little Pepe in his head. AMS available with a full cooldowns coming up. Whereas Satanius does land the stun. It is a Feral with Thorns though, so it's gonna do a bit of damage. Grip, and the Rogue, it is like already ready. Who is up next? Nobody really knows who's next. Looks like I guess it's gonna be Dirks up next. It just keeps getting crit over and over and over, but I think it is a relapse. A-Bomb couldn't control their grippy hand. It was just looking for some company. They're just trying to make A-Bomb make some friends, you know what I mean? Nothing you could do about it. Sorry, Dirks, that had to vanish out of this one, but at least he was like, you know what? They understood that Death Knight is not in control. But this idea putting Death Knight, I think, just shows whoever's nearby target was like, I guess I'm fighting you. I'm gonna start hitting you because I don't have a lot of health to work with here. Relapse, though, is a Affliction Warlock by the looks of it. So just getting some dots on the A-Bomb and then AFK and away from him could be the winner here. With 71% dampener, not a lot of recovery could be gotten. But A-Bomb is trying to buy himself as much time as possible unless Relapse really pushes in. Staying mobile is what's going to help you. Having AMS up for the Warlock will probably help you as well. And there's going to be some dots exchange. A-Bomb is already behind with those dots getting exchanged. Getting that interrupt onto Relapse, though, that could be pretty good. AMS available for the Soul Rod and UA. That's going to be anti-magic zone because those dots are going to go through one way or another. You can't really stop them. And Relapse does go for a nice port out of the A-Bomb. Is still hanging out into anti-magic zone. Needs to line aside the eyeball pet. But I think the dots take him out and that's over. That was a hard one, dude. That was a tough first duel for a lot of you guys. Christina, though, came in with 3 kills. Valen's got that big damage on our boy Insufferable, who healed quite a lot. What is that healing? What is that healing? Oh my god. That was the longest, closest duel between a rogue and a shaman. But the rogue played it super well. I mean, if he didn't have all those restarts, I think it would have been difficult. But being a night elf and having that sepsis and a good use of that sepsis, this man